last May, I finally got an MRI scan after a 7-year long wait. Now, originally it was about 4 years and I hadn't heard anything, but I started asking my MS nurse to see if I could get an MRI scan, just because of curiosity, obviously. I mean, when you've got MS, you want to know these things, you want to stay on top of everything. So I really wanted an MRI scan, and it took the NHS 3 long years to get the MRI scan, but it happened, and it happened last May. Now, there is a reason why I'm only updating this now. I did start posting on YouTube over a year ago, but then life happened. A lot happened at that point. I got a promotion at work into a new team, which had a huge learning curve. And for those that don't know, I'm a software engineer, so I have to learn a lot of different programming languages and different frameworks and things to actually perform well at my job. So that took a lot of my time, and it was a lot of stress, especially with a toddler at home and family life, things like that. Then in the September, we decided that we wanted to move house. So we ended up buying my wife's granddad's house, and it needed a huge renovation. So literally over the entire winter and up until March, April, we was basically renovating the house. It was a really, really big job. But we got there in the end, and we are now here. I have moved. I am living in a different house now, and I don't know, you could probably see some weights over there. That's basically like a bit of a makeshift gym that I've done, because I haven't got my two-story garage anymore. What am I trying to say here? Sorry, MS brain is it's getting me again. But you know what I mean. I haven't got a big garage anymore to have a nice gym with a squat rack and things like that. So I've had to have a makeshift one in the corner of my office, and also I've got a pull-up bar outside, which I've started using. But yeah, it's been a long road. So I'm hoping things have calmed down a bit now, although today is actually my first day back at work after a month off, because I've been on paternity leave because I've had another baby. So I've actually got a newborn to look after now, month-old newborn. So yeah, things are gonna be tough. Things are gonna be, especially with MS and stuff like it. These are the things that I'm just gonna have to navigate. But I wanted to share this. I wanted to share these experiences. Back to the results anyway. So my MRI results, like most people with MS, when you have an MRI scan, you're always anxious. You always think the worst, and you always think there's going to be new lesions and all these things, especially since in 2023, I actually had a relapse in it. I say relapse in air quotes because I had extreme fatigue, but one thing that I did get, which happens to me when I'm going to have some form of MS attack, is a sunburn feeling. I don't know if anybody else gets that feeling, or let me know in the comments if anything like that happens to you, if you get some form of signal. But I get a sunburn feeling on my skin, and it always worries me. So I had this for like a few days in my left arm, and I had extreme fatigue. So I went to the doctors, and they gave me some anabolic steroids, and it cleared it up. I felt absolutely brilliant after I took the full 5-day course. That was supposed to be a relapse anyway, so it's down in my notes as a relapse in 2023. I don't know anymore if it was a relapse. I think I was just being a bit cautious, to be honest. But you know, it's one of those things. It's best to stay on top of them, just in case, and always see the doctor about these things. You just never know. So anyway, I thought that I might have a few more lesions on the brain. and especially now that I'm getting older as well. I'm 36 now. I've had MS since I was 18. I was diagnosed in 2008. So yeah, 18 years I've had MS. So yeah, you're gonna expect the worst. So I was anxious. I was a bit nervous about it, the results. And when I saw the doctor to go over the results, it was really good news. Actually, no change. No change whatsoever after a 7 year gap of no MRI scans and a potential MS relapse. No change, which is amazing, honestly. I saw my MS nurse recently and she basically just said, keep doing what you're doing. So, I mean, yeah, I suppose we'll find out together what I'm doing over the days and weeks and months or whatever. But yeah, one thing that they did say that, like, because the consultant that I did see said that I qualified for cladribine. Now, looking at the side effects of cladribine, it doesn't seem like something I want to go on with a toddler and a newborn, honestly. I already try to avoid sickness as much as possible, like most people with MS, because obviously it attacks our nervous system and it doesn't do us good. So obviously going on cladribine for me, it seemed like an obvious decision. I've turned it down. I understand why they did it because I'm getting older now. Like I said, 36, this seems to be a point where most people get a lot of MS relapses and big relapses tend to happen. And so they're trying to prevent that. And I'm a big fan of preventative steps rather than firefighting. But in this case, I do think I'm doing good enough to not have to have any drugs, any injections, tablets, whatever. I'm trying to avoid them all. I'm trying to do everything natural. That's for me anyway, by the way. That's my choice. Don't let it influence you in any way, mate. Please make your own decisions if you do have MS. But yeah, so that was my choice in the end. I've turned it down. I've turned down the cladribine. But yeah, I think all in all, amazing news, and I think I'm back. I'm going to try and upload more. So yeah, I hope to see you in the next one. Hopefully got more good news. See you in a bit.